Hello everyone. Welcome back. Today, we've got some crucial news you don't want to miss. Let's dive right into the top financial headlines and break down what's happening. There are three key pieces of information worth noting today. First, JPMorgan CEO Jamie Dimon. Dimon once again provided some guidance for Wall Street during his speech at the Atlantic Festival in Washington, D.C. today. He shared his skepticism about the current state of the economy, saying, "I'm more doubtful than others. I believe the odds are lower. I hope inflation disappears as easily as some predict, but I'm more skeptical." While Dimon acknowledged that inflation has come down and could decline further, he expressed doubts about a soft landing for the U.S. economy. He added, "I'm not counting my chickens yet. We've likely moved from a period of low interest rates and low inflation to slightly higher rates and higher inflation. Whatever happens, we'll manage it. Economists are used to dealing with these challenges. This is not a disaster." Dimon's comments had a significant impact on Wall Street as they effectively dampened expectations for a 50 basis point rate cut by the Federal Reserve. He made it clear that even substantial rate cuts may not be enough to prevent a potential recession or a so-called hard landing for the U.S. economy. By making these remarks before other influential figures had a chance to weigh in, Dimon put additional negative pressure on Wall Street today. We can expect more big names to offer their perspectives early next week. Second, the governor of the Bank of Japan. Today, the Bank of Japan's governor provided an unusually clear forward guidance on future interest rate policies, something the global markets have been anxiously waiting for. Investors have been speculating about when the Bank of Japan might raise rates, as the governor has previously indicated that rate hikes are being considered. With the Federal Reserve recently cutting rates, the question on everyone's mind was, when will the Bank of Japan follow suit? Today, the governor made it clear that there should be no expectation of a rate hike in October. This announcement is crucial because, without it, both Japanese and international markets would continue to be unsettled by the possibility of an imminent rate increase. This means there will be no significant changes in Japan's monetary policy before the end of October, and the yen is unlikely to experience any major shifts until then. Third, Trump's media company, DJT. Shares of DJT, the media company associated with former President Donald Trump, have been plummeting for 5 consecutive days, hitting their lowest point since the company went public. Why the steep decline? Well, today, Friday, marks the day that, according to an agreement Trump made with the company's investors, he is allowed to sell his shares in DJT. Trump currently holds a 60% stake in the company. Concerns that Trump might sell off his shares have triggered the sharp drop in stock price. Interestingly, last week Trump publicly stated that he has no intention of selling his shares, even after the lockup period ends. However, the market remains uneasy, as investors are not entirely convinced. There are also likely some political factors at play in this situation. The second important news item to share. This report comes from Reuters, with the headline, EU's von der Leyen announces €35 billion loan in Kyiv visit. During her visit to Kyiv on Friday, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen announced that the EU will provide Ukraine with up to €35 billion in loans. She emphasized that these funds are crucial to help Ukraine defend itself against Russian aggression and to support the country through the upcoming winter. At a joint press conference, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky stood by her side, explaining that the loan would be used for energy, air defense, and weapons procurement. He also urged allied nations to approve his victory plan before the end of the year. Von der Leyen's visit to Kyiv marks the start of her second term as the head of the EU's executive branch. She stressed that Ukraine needs continued support from the 27-nation bloc in the face of Russia's attacks. This loan is part of a broader initiative among the G7 nations, which aims to raise funds through the proceeds of frozen Russian assets as part of sanctions imposed on Russia for its invasion of Ukraine. Standing in front of the Ukrainian and EU flags, Zelensky said, "We will allocate this $35 billion for energy, defense, and even for schools, kindergartens, universities, and children's bomb shelters. This is a significant deficit we need to address." Regarding weapons, Zelensky noted that much of it would come from domestic production, including drones and missiles. He added, "Today, our long-range drones successfully hit the enemy, and they are more cost-effective than those made by our partners." Von der Leyen also announced that an additional $160 million from the proceeds of frozen Russian assets would be allocated for Ukraine's urgent humanitarian needs this winter. This is a major step, marking the first large-scale use of frozen Russian assets to assist Ukraine. The third important news story shared by a reader. This report comes from the New York Times, titled, "How Israel Built a Modern-Day Trojan Horse, Exploding Pegas." It's a fascinating piece that uncovers the details behind the back-to-back explosions in Beirut on September the 18th and 19th. The article explains that on the 17th and 18th, a series of explosions in Lebanon resulted in 37 deaths and over 3,000 injuries. The incident was part of a years-long plan by Israeli intelligence, dubbed the Trojan Horse operation, aimed at targeting Hezbollah. The plan involved selling Pegas rigged with explosives to Hezbollah through a shell company set up in Hungary. The New York Times interviewed 12 anonymous U.S. Defense Department and intelligence officials who attended briefings on the bombings. According to these officials, Israel's intelligence agency created a shell company called BAC in Hungary and partnered with a Taiwanese company, Golden Apollo, to produce what appeared to be regular Pegas. In addition, Israel set up at least 2 other shell companies to hide the identities of its operatives. To lure Hezbollah into the trap, Israel spread false rumors suggesting that mobile phone communications were no longer secure and could be easily traced. Hezbollah, believing that their encrypted phone systems were compromised, began relying heavily on what they thought were more secure Pegas, ultimately falling into the trap. Starting in the summer of 2022, Israel began shipping small quantities of these Pegas to Lebanon. By this summer, as demand from Hezbollah grew, Israel increased the supply, with thousands of Pegas now in use in Lebanon. On the 17th, Israeli intelligence received the order to trigger the explosives. Seconds later, chaos erupted across Lebanon. Although Israel has not officially acknowledged its involvement, U.S. intelligence officials confirmed that Israel used these shell companies to supply Hezbollah with Pegas containing PETN explosives hidden in the batteries. These devices, referred to as buttons, could be remotely detonated at the right moment. The secretive Israeli military intelligence unit, known as Unit 8200, played a key role in planning and executing this operation. Unit 8200, known for its expertise in technology and cyber warfare, developed the method for planting bombs inside the Pegas. Their technological capabilities are said to rival those of the U.S. National Security Agency, NSA. This report sheds light on the intricate and surprising truth behind the attacks. I'd like to share my thoughts on this news. Recently, there's been a lot of speculation in Taiwan about how Pegas from Golden Apollo ended up in Lebanon, with even the Taiwanese government launching an investigation. In my opinion, there's no need for Taiwan to feel pressured or offer excessive explanations. Israel purchasing these Pegas from Taiwan was part of a normal business transaction, and Taiwan had no involvement in planting the explosives. Moreover, it was reported that some of the devices used in the second round of explosions were Japanese-made walkie-talkies, and Japan hasn't issued any explanation either. From this perspective, I don't think Taiwan is under any obligation to provide further clarification. That's all for today. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more updates. I look forward to seeing you in the next one.